The Philippine Sea looked calm. Blue water, clear horizon. Inside a U.S. Navy destroyer's sonar room, a sailor leaned closer. He was no longer bored. Something was whispering through the speakers, a low, slow, intentional pulse. It wasn't ocean noise. It was not biological. It was too steady, too intentional. The sailor called it out. The Combat Information Center snapped. A faint blip became a solid track. Bearing was steady. Depth held at 120 meters, moving at 8 knots. This was the classic signature of a diesel-electric submarine, one that was actively trying to hide from detection. The destroyer immediately fed this crucial data to the rest of the carrier strike group. That whisper became a picture. Many people imagine an aircraft carrier as just a single ship. This assumption is completely wrong. It's a fortress. Ticonderoga cruisers and Arleigh Burke destroyers form the shield. E-2D Hawkeye aircraft paint the airspace with powerful radar. Below them, MH-60R Seahawk helicopters are tasked to hunt for whatever the ship's main sonar systems cannot reach. One of these helicopters launched with a simple mission: find the unidentified submarine. It lowered its dipping sonar. This allowed it to listen much deeper than the destroyer's sensors could. The deep ocean swallowed the sound. Then the ocean gave back the answer. Contact confirmed. A Chinese Yuan-class sub was crawling beneath the Reagan's bubble. This was not normal shadowing. This was trespassing inside the one zone you never want to be caught. The Chinese submarine desperately wanted to maintain complete silence. Silence is, after all, a submarine's greatest weapon. But diesel-electric subs share one critical weakness: time. They are like a sprinter trying to hold their breath. They can stalk very quietly on batteries, but eventually, those batteries will drain. Air begins to run thin. Systems need oxygen. When that limit is reached, the ocean gives only two choices: surface and be seen. The other choice is to stay hidden and eventually die powerless, adrift in the deep, dark, cold ocean. The Reagan strike group calmly watched the submarine's energy levels drop. They never rushed. They never warned. They just collected data: propeller blade count, vibration signatures, and the exact shaft rotation speed. Each detail was logged. Each detail became a part of the submarine's permanent acoustic fingerprint. The trap was closing. Then it happened. At 07:04, the ocean surface changed. 1 second, the horizon was empty. The next, a black tower punched through. Water poured down its black hull. Sailors on the carrier's deck froze. This was not a routine surfacing. They were watching an unknown submarine pop up in the absolute worst possible place it could have chosen. Before adrenaline could even hit, protocol kicked in. A calm voice broadcast over the open radio channel. Unidentified submarine. You are operating near a United States carrier strike group. You must maintain safe distance. There were no raised voices, no threats, just calm, cold authority. Discipline itself is a powerful weapon. From that single moment, the submarine was finished. Every system on that boat became a broadcast tower. Its radar sweeps were recorded. Satellite communication bursts were intercepted. Shortwave messages to command were captured. Even imperfections in its antenna, the tiny distortions and modulation, all of these became valuable clues. Above, a Seahawk lowered another sonobuoy. But now it wasn't hunting. It was just recording everything. The submarine had surfaced in order to survive. Instead, it had opened itself up like a book. The U.S. Navy did not need to fire a single shot. They walked away with months of intelligence. Destroyers repositioned without any drama. The carrier did not even change its course. Jets kept launching from the deck. Jets kept launching, roaring overhead. The Chinese crew must have felt like they were trapped inside a stadium. For 10 minutes, the strike group treated the surface submarine just like a dangerous coiled snake. It was dangerous if provoked, but predictable if handled correctly. The Americans stayed calm. Discipline beats drama. Eventually, the sub eased away and finally slid beneath the waves. There were no cheers, no celebrations. Just a single simple sentence was logged in the operations report. Contact departed. All data has been collected. Diesel-electric submarines are natural hunters. They are silent in shallow water, deadly on the first strike. But the ocean has rules. When you surface near a carrier, you don't reveal strength. You reveal secrets. The encounter ended without missiles, torpedoes, or confrontation. But the message sent was perfectly clear. The carrier did not need to flex its power. It simply needed to know more about its adversary. In modern naval warfare, knowledge always beats firepower. And on that day, the ocean chose a side. This incident perfectly shows the crucial difference between confidence and control. The U.S. Navy didn't need to react. They did not fire warning shots or make a scene. They let discipline do all the work. When the Chinese subsurfaced, the real advantage was never about firepower. It was always about information. The carrier group stayed calm, collected data, and let the submarine expose itself. That's the mindset. This is the mindset of a military force that does not need to prove anything to anyone. Meanwhile, the sub gave away its acoustic signature, radar profile, and communication habits. It ran out of options. This wasn't a show of strength from China. It was a complete reveal of its capabilities. The side that gathers the most information wins long before a missile ever leaves its launcher. The United States Navy did not need to chase dominance. It was clear that it already had it. This isn't about who has the biggest ship. It's about who stays calm when everything gets tense. The submarine surfaced thinking it would send a warning. Instead, it handed the United States Navy a gift. The carrier group didn't yell. They didn't start a confrontation. They just collected everything they needed. While the submarine was trying to show its strength, the U.S. Navy was simply gathering data. The propeller noise, the radar profile, and even the radio signals. Every second it stayed above water. Every single second was another piece of information they could use in the future against this submarine. If you were the sub commander and your batteries were dying, what would you do? Surface, or would you dive deeper and risk being trapped forever? Tell me in the comments. I read them. The U.S. Navy did not have to show force. They didn't point missiles. They did not escalate. They simply let their discipline speak for them. That to me is what real power looks like. Now, another question. If you were on the Reagan's bridge, would you have fired a warning shot? Or would you have trusted your senses and training? Drop your answer below. The comments tell the story. And if you enjoy these real-world breakdowns and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. It keeps the channel growing. Because in naval warfare, real power is not about noise. Power is about knowledge. And sometimes silence wins.